receptive, relaxing times. The best moments usually occur if a person's body and mind is stretched to its limits in a voluntary effort to accomplish something both difficult and worthwhile. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi said that when he was describing something called flow. But first I want to tell you a little bit about this gentleman. He was born in Hungary in 1934. He's one of the pioneers of the study of happiness. He's considered one of the founding figures of positive psychology. He was curious about what piqued creativity and productivity. He spent most or a lot or some, he's very vague about it, of his childhood in an Italian prison due to the war, away from his family and his friends and anything comfortable or safe. And thus, his life's journey began with a painful childhood, like it does for many, many, many people here on earth before us and now today. So what is flow? He's the father of flow. I'm going to define it with his words. That's F-L-O-W, just like it sounds. A state in which people are so involved in an activity that nothing else seems to matter. The experience is so enjoyable that people will continue to do it even at great cost, for the sheer sake of doing it. The ego falls away, time flies, every action, movement, and thought follows inevitably from the previous one, like watching a musician play music. When are you in the flow? We've heard people in sports, you're in the flow when you're playing sports, you're in the flow when you're playing music. I'm in the flow when I'm speaking, when I'm using my mouth and my hands. I can feel it in my fingertips when I'm writing, literally, and that's my flow. And there are several things about a flow that everyone should know. When you're too challenged, you have anxiety and you can't get to your flow. When you're not challenged enough, you're bored and you can't get to your flow. So finding that balance in the middle and challenging yourself allows you to get into the area of a flow. So let's hear more about that. So there's elements. He describes 9 elements. I'm just going to mention a few of them. Balance between challenge and skills. So if you all think for a second, when are you in the flow? It's probably something you enjoy doing. Gardening, cutting hair, coming to work. My husband's flow is when he plays guitar. He has a practice place. He doesn't play live. He doesn't make CDs, but he's in the flow. That's his place, and it doesn't matter. He goes to work to get the job done and go home. Not everybody's like that, and I'm going to elaborate more on that. But there's 9 elements to flow. The one that's most important to me today, that's standing out to me, is that I have absolutely no worry of failure. So why is flow important? Well, some people say it's the key to happiness. And it looks different for everyone. I mentioned cutting hair or gardening. And I found an example online from another scholar, the case of Joe the welder. He doesn't want a high-paying job. He doesn't want to be a foreman. He likes being Joe the welder. He sees every single task as a challenge to perfect his skills. And he's happy. Now his buddies, they see it as a toilsome burden. They have to come to work and make this money so they can go home and pay the bills. They go home to escape because work is work and it's not where their flow is. So they go home and they drink beer and watch TV or whatever have you, whatever bad habit, play video games. There's a list of them. When you're not in the flow, something is missing. And some people find that flow at work, like I previously said. Some people do not. And that's where I want to take flow to the next level. So keep in mind, the essence of flow is the removal, I alluded to this, the essence of flow is the removal of interference of the thinking mind. So when you're playing music, you're not thinking, what do I hit next? What do I do next? When you're driving a stick shift, you're not thinking, what gear do I go into next? You're just in the flow. You don't have to think about it. It's organic, it's natural, it comes out smoothly, and I would argue, honestly. So that kind of sounds familiar. We talk about meditation and yoga, Buddhist concept of mindfulness. Flow, this isn't new. Sarah's like talking about something we already know about. We've heard this before. But this gentleman here has been looking at where flow already exists. I'm wondering, where is it missing? Not where does it exist. So I have been one of those people that has ached for flow since I could remember. And I actually wrote my first book. I ran in it today, accidentally as it were. Well, 1987, June 1st, 1987, I wrote my first book. I have always wanted to write. It's my flow. And I've been trying to fit into this category, into this place. Society says 1 + 1 is 2. You go to high school, you go to college, you get a degree, you get married, you have kids, you buy a house, white picket fence, you get a job. If you're not happy, maybe you need to get a hobby. Okay, you got a hobby, okay, maybe you need to go to church more. And okay, you tried everything in our formula of happiness, there must be something wrong with you. Let's try Prozac. Let's try ADD medication. Let's try whatever else might fix what's wrong with you. And there's really nothing wrong with us. There's not, at least I can speak for myself, there's nothing wrong with me except for the fact that I've been trying to fit into a formula that doesn't work with my makeup. It just isn't right for me. So I hypothesize that each child that is drugged with medication because they can't pay attention, each parent stealing their children's medication or hiding bottles, each person that wakes up in the morning and you have that heavy dread of, I gotta do this again, is just missing their flow. I put in my 2-week notice last week, not because anything related to the job or FTB or the position, but because my flow's not here. I am blessed to have a husband that supports me and believes in my abilities, and I'm blessed to be able to leave a situation when it's not right. I don't know what's next for me, but I know if I follow my flow, it'll organically emerge right before my eyes. Thank you.